Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Joel and I'm from Black Panther Studios. Today I'll be doing another update for you guys. This is an update of the game I've been developing for my Year 12 HSC major work in multimedia. It is called Ice Cream Tycoon. That's what the project is called. I'll probably have to change the name as I have looked into it, and there's a game sort of similar but not really. Mine's different direction but same name, so I'll have to modify that a little bit. So basically this video I'm going to run through all my classes one by one, explain to you the game. First I'm going to show you the game, and then I'm going to explain how I've done everything. I'm going to explain things I'll be doing in the future, as well as any suggestions. I'll ask for suggestions, whatever you think I should implement or whatever. Yeah, so this is my game one. I've got a few static variables here, just some booleans they aren't needed ever, so that shouldn't even be there. So yeah, all I need is exit game, screen height, screen width, and I just have a basic font that I'm going with for testing that I want to use throughout the whole project, so it's just static. Next I've just set the width and height, and I just initialized it, made the mouse visible, I set the menu font, loaded it in, and now here I've got Game State Manager. I load the content, I set the services, and then I switch to Splash. So that's the first thing we'll go to. Inside here, basically, this is just managing my screens. Yeah, that's what I do. This is for loading content. That's just a logic check through there, and I've just got a few little static void functions which switch to screens, like splash, menu, play, options, controls, etc. So when I want to swap to a screen, I write Game State Manager dot and then the thing. So I unload, and I update, of course, and I draw. So the reason I don't have sprite batch from begin, sprite batch.end is because in every individual game state screen I do, so that way I can unload a screen when I move to the other one and then load it all back in later. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And next we'll go through my play screen. Very messy because I'm still testing. But yeah, actually before I get too ahead of myself, let's just run the game. New splash screen I just randomly came up with, sorry, that's my phone. I like it a lot. I need to get rid of some of the shake a bit. It's a bit too intense for the game it is, but it's what I made, so that's a little fake screen that I've got. I'll go back to the menu first. Play, options, credits, quit. Play, see money, popularity, etc. I'm just testing something, that's why there's so many customers on the screen. Jesus. Quickly fix that. Change the timer. So basically they come every 2.5 seconds. Sorry, I was just debugging. That's a bug I need to fix as well. So he's going to rob the place. These are just some Scribblenauts people I found on the internet to test with. So as you can see, your money goes up, your ice cream stock goes down. Yeah, you just watch it go. 116 daily customers if you have 1,000 popularity. I'm just testing it under some conditions to make sure this runs smoothly, so I set it to 100,000. See what it was, just to make sure nothing broke, so it's all good. Santa Claus, superhero, some normal looking person, Santa again. Yeah. Basically they're going to be randomly generated characters that we'll walk on. And there's going to be a day and night cycle, so I'm going to have a big circular either a very long sprite that goes from day till night. I was thinking just a big circle that rotates around slowly as it changes to night, and when it's nighttime there's no customers, so you have the chance to upgrade your stand. So when it gets to nighttime, you click upgrade, which isn't there yet, and then it will take about 30 seconds. It'll be like a little hammer or something, and you'll upgrade it. Your popularity will increase. Every time you put out, you can get... Oh, that's just a little crappy thing I put there. You can put advertisements down. And yeah, sorry if I'm talking a bit fast. I'm not really used to all this. I hope you're still with me. Sorry, I unlocked my phone, so I stopped getting messages. The soundtrack as well, I'm sorry if that's a bit loud. Let me just turn that down a little bit. Hopefully you can actually still hear me when I do that. So yeah, setting the popularity to 1,000 is obviously for testing. That's obviously an end game thing, and you'd have lots more stands set up. Another thing, guys, I'm going to be doing is like create like a procedural sort of method for customers like stopping at the stand and paying for ice cream. So what I mean by that is customers, based on the weather and your popularity and what ice cream you have, will determine whether or not they'll stop, and they'll have a preference based on like their location or whatnot. So whatever their preference is, if you don't have that preference, they could just walk on past, and then you lose some popularity because you don't have what you want. Also, if you run out of stock, they walk straight past, which is a little thing. I just used some booleans and if statements to get that to work. For this game, I'm still sort of intermediate, so I did shoot a bit over what I can actually do. I'll still be able to do it, but it was a big task. I didn't think making a game like this would be so difficult. But it's been fun. It's been fun. So yeah, as you can see, the ice cream stock hit 0. Everyone just walks past. The popularity is supposed to go down when they get to this part of the screen, but that will take like 5 minutes to implement. What's next? What I need to figure out also is how I'm going to handle different locations. Don't worry about the art, it's terrible, I know. Probably laughing the whole time at it. It's just some crappy Photoshop job that I did like. It took me too long to do, which makes it worse. Yeah, so next I'm going to have locations as well. Like, you're going to be able to expand on this stand, and then you can like click across. There'll be like an arrow over here, and you go across to the beach, where when you're at the beach, you're going to have like a bigger chance of earning some money. But I'm thinking you can only be at one spot at a time until you like maybe buy an extra person to work at the stand for you, because you can't be 2 places at once. So what I'm going to do is you're going to be you can pick your location, like you can swap locations. So say it's a really hot day, you might be more beneficial switching over to the beach. But say there's like an event happening in the street, maybe you're best off here, because there'll be random things, like a news article will be like gathering on blah 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 blah, and then you'll be like, oh well, I better set up my stand here. Like little things like that. It's meant to be sort of based on decision making. I've said it's sort of like educational, but yeah, they're just walking on past until this little debug until that number gets to 116. Yeah, well that's pretty cool. All of this is going to get cleaned up. So basically for the customers, customer flow, customers and customer, yeah, it's a bit confusing. Customer flow, let me show you this. This is a very small example of what the customer flow algorithm is going to look like. Basically, it's a class that just determines how many customers I'm going to get per day. So later on, it's going to depend off your location, your popularity, the temperature. It's going to have a lot more variables it will depend on. At the moment, it just goes off temperature and popularity. And you're probably wondering, what? That's confusing. Why are you dividing it by 6? Well, honestly, there's no reasoning behind it. So you could say it's sort of random, but basically that gives me it's the most accurate result based on temperature and popularity, while still being like fun to play. So when you divide a temperature by 6, you think of say 30 degrees. 30 divided by 6 is, I think it's 5. Yeah, so 5. So that equals 5 plus your popularity divided by 9. So say you have a 9 popularity, that's 1. So if you have a 9 popularity at 30 degrees, you'll have like 6 customers. Sounds fair. When you have 100, that's getting pretty insane. So the temperature gives you a little bit. The temperature's a little bit like dependent, but your popularity by far dominates everything. But yeah, play screen's pretty messed up. There's a lot of shit going on here. This doesn't even apply anymore. I could comment that out and the game would still run, so I can hide that. This is for loading customers. There's a random, and there's a new value called random. The names aren't the best. This is just testing. I'll need to fix all this up. So, yeah, the rand X is basically spawning them off the screen at a random position. I might make it a bit more spread out, but not sure. Next thing, I'm just, if the customers are less than the total customers, and a boolean spawn customer. Yeah, if that's equal to true. So basically, so they don't all spawn at once. So there's a timer here. It's a little timer, and as long as that's true, it will spawn one. So every 2.5 seconds, it'll wait 2.5 seconds. That will be true. It will randomly pick one. So if random texture, that's a random value, is equal to 1, it picks a number between 1 and 8, and the previous texture wasn't what it equals now. So say you get like Santa spawns, right? And then it will run through again. It makes sure they won't spawn him straight afterwards. That's what it's supposed to do. But I'm having some troubles. Any suggestions also would be great. So basically, the whole gameplay is you start off, you've got a really crappy backyard stand that your dad's put up for you. You're a little kid. It's all pretty cool. Time progresses pretty fast. People start liking you and you gain a popularity with the people because you're quite cheap. Oh yeah, also, sorry. This is sort of based on it. Crap, I've had a complete mind blank again. Yeah, how your stand looks will determine who'll stop. Sometimes they just won't. If it's a cold day, they just won't. I still haven't managed to get that in there. Get that to work, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, back to what I was talking about. I never remember. Yeah, customers will also have, based on the texture, like say they look real professional and they have a suit, they will have a higher amount of money they'll spend to buy ice cream. So you can set the price of your ice cream. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a variety yet. That's going to be a last minute thing. But for now, just to get my project done for school, basically the price, the people, certain location depends on how high you can set your price really. So if you're in a little street, you're better off setting it a bit lower so you're guaranteed that a lot of people will. But when, say, you unlock like a city area or something like that, you might get less people stopping, but the people that do stop are more inclined to pay a higher amount of money. So customers will have a price range in which they'll pay in. They'll have a balance on them, and then the maximum they'll pay from that. And yeah. It's also, across the top of the screen there's going to be like a news article. I think I went over this before. A little headlines, you could say. It doesn't do anything yet. You can have a look at that. It means nothing. But basically, these are just going to be set in an order. Like as you pass a certain time, there'll be an event that will happen. There'll be random events, and then the news will talk about it. There might be a storm for one of the days, and you just get no customers. And if you've invested some money in something that was going to help you and then it storms, you're going to lose a lot of money. Say you buy an advertisement and it storms, it's not going to pay off. So yeah, it's a lot about risk taking as well. Also, I had like a random vision having the computer like sort of predict what the weather for the next day will be. And the weather is also not just going to be random. The weather's going to be somewhat procedural. I'm going to have a seasons sort of thing, like spring, autumn, summer. Winter you'll just skip. Winter you can have the choice to skip, and it will just tell you how much you earn, which will be like nothing. But yeah, winter's like your holiday in the game. It just goes straight to the next warmish season. And basically, I've looked into it. I've looked at the temperature ranges and how much it rains every year in certain seasons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the weather patterns and see, like, after a certain amount of sunny days, there's always like a stormy day. And so basically, if it rains, if it's sunny, really, really hot days in the game, like 32 degrees for 2 days in a row, there's a very high chance of it raining the next day, so you have a good indication of how much ice cream you want to buy. If you're confident, you can, or if you have a lot of money, you can sort of buy some ice cream, but every day your ice creams will melt. They're gone. You have to get rid of them, have to buy more. So, yeah. Yeah, so the temperature thing is pretty cool. So based on the season, it will determine the temperature, and based on the temperature, it will give you a forecast. And the game will predict the forecast. The computer will predict the forecast, so it might not be right. You could check the weather in a little thing, and it will be like, well, the last 2 days were sunny, so you'd say like a 60% chance of rain. So then they have this decision, this crucial decision they have to make, like, am I going to buy that much ice cream for tomorrow, or am I going to risk it? So yeah, it's a lot about risk and trying to, I don't know, trying to imitate what it's like. And yeah, so I'm basically trying to get the gameplay down like this month, so I'll be doing updates pretty regularly. But yeah, this has gone on for 15 minutes, so thanks a lot for, if you got this far, just comment and I love you forever. But nah, yeah, thanks a lot. See yous.